It's pretty likely that someone has manipulated you today, and you probably didn't even notice. And look, that's not because you're naive or anything. It's because the most effective psychological tactics, they're specifically designed to slip right past our logical defenses, pulling on invisible strings we don't even know we're there.
This quote right here, it just gets to the absolute heart of the matter. We kind of expect manipulation to be loud, right? Obvious and aggressive. But the really powerful stuff, the kind that truly gets under your skin, it's quiet. It doesn't need to shout because it's working on a whole other level.
If that question hits home for you at all, you are definitely not alone. That feeling, that mental fog where you start questioning your own sanity, that is not a sign of weakness. It's a completely normal reaction to some very sophisticated psychological tactics that are designed to make you feel exactly that way, off balance and dependent.
Okay, so let's get right into it, because to defend yourself, you have to understand the weapon being used against you, and that weapon has a name: dark psychology. This is the key that unlocks why those unsettling experiences happen.
So, what is it really? Dark psychology isn't some kind of black magic. It's the strategic use of our own human nature against us. Look, we all influence people every day, but the line gets crossed when the intent becomes purely selfish and the outcome is designed to hurt someone else. That right there, that's the critical difference.
And this just lays it all out, doesn't it? Healthy influence is all about being open, trying to find a solution where everyone wins. But dark manipulation? Oh, that's a totally different game. It's a zero-sum game, built on secrets and designed to exploit your vulnerabilities, all for one person's gain.
All right, so now that we know what we're dealing with, let's open up the playbook. Let's look at the go-to tactics, the actual psychological weapons that manipulators use to get control.
And one of the most powerful plays in that book is called love bombing. Just look at how this works. It's like a 3-act tragedy. First, they just overwhelm you with affection. You feel like you found your soulmate. Then, once you're hooked, the script flips. They devalue you, pull away, and leave you scrambling to get back to that amazing feeling from the beginning. And finally, they discard you, only to pop back up later to start the whole addictive cycle all over again.
So if love bombing is the hook that gets you in, gaslighting is the tool they use to completely erase your reality. By constantly denying things you know are true, they make you question everything: your perception, your memory, even your own sanity. The entire goal is to make you stop trusting yourself, so you have to rely completely on their version of what's real.
So, what happens when you actually call a manipulator out? Well, they often follow this predictable script called DARVO. First, they deny they did anything wrong. Then, they attack you for daring to bring it up. And then, in this just unbelievable twist, they reverse the roles of victim and offender. Suddenly, they're the one being hurt by your so-called accusations. It's a shockingly effective way to dodge any and all responsibility.
But how do these tactics actually work on us? They're not just random attacks. They succeed because they're specifically designed to exploit certain glitches and backdoors that are already built into our own psychology.
This concept right here is the engine behind that whole love bombing cycle. By mixing affection with neglect, the manipulator puts you on what's called an intermittent reinforcement schedule. It's exactly like a slot machine. You never know when the next payout of kindness is coming, so you just keep pulling the lever, hoping for a reward. You become addicted. This is how a trauma bond is formed.
Another major exploit is something called cognitive dissonance. You know that deeply uncomfortable, stressful feeling you get when you're holding two completely opposite beliefs at the same time? Like, I love this person, but also, this person is really hurting me. Manipulators absolutely thrive on creating that internal chaos.
And this is what that chaos looks like in real life. It's what some call cognitive dissonance bombing, a never-ending stream of contradictions that just paralyzes your ability to think straight. Praised one minute, torn down the next. It overloads your brain's circuits, making it almost impossible to feel stable, which, of course, makes you much easier to control.
Okay, we've seen the playbook, and we've looked at the psychology that makes it work. Now for the most important part. How do you fight back? Let's switch gears from just understanding the threat to building up your defenses with some clear, practical steps. First things first, document everything. When someone is trying to warp your reality, a written record is your anchor. Second, you have to set firm, non-negotiable boundaries. It's not a debate, it's a simple statement of what you will and will not accept. And third, and this one is so important, you have to break the isolation. Talk to someone you trust. Getting an outside perspective is the ultimate antidote to gaslighting.
And let's end with this thought. Awareness isn't some kind of vaccine that makes you immune for life. It's a discipline. It's the daily practice of paying attention to how people in conversations make you feel, trusting that gut instinct, and just understanding that those invisible strings are always out there. The absolute best defense is to never, ever stop looking for them.